In the early 1860s, the United States was a nation hanging by a thread. Two regions, the industrial North and the agricultural South, were drifting further apart with every passing year. Conflicts over economy, culture, and especially the expansion of slavery had created a divide that seemed impossible to bridge. And when 11 southern states broke away to form their own confederation, America officially split into two. What followed was the greatest crisis the young nation had ever faced. Amid this turmoil, a quiet, thoughtful leader stepped into the presidency. A man with no aristocratic background, no elite political upbringing, but a profound belief in the idea of a single, united nation. This is the untold reality of how he brought America back together. Contrary to popular belief, the president at the center of this conflict did not enter office seeking war. In fact, he spent months desperately trying to avoid it. He reached out to Southern leaders with proposals meant to calm rising fears. He expressed no intention of abolishing slavery where it already existed, and he repeatedly emphasized his primary goal, preserving the Union. But the situation escalated beyond diplomacy. Southern states continued to secede. Tensions mounted, and in April of 1861, when shots were fired at a federal fort, war became inevitable. Still, the president's early efforts reveal a truth often overlooked. This was not a man eager for conflict, but a leader forced into it to protect the nation's survival. Behind the scenes, he wrestled with heavy doubts, agonizing choices, and the weight of millions of lives. His hesitation was not weakness, it was humanity. A humanity that would later shape how the nation healed.
To reunify America, the president employed a strategic vision that historians now describe as three essential layers: military strength, political transformation, and national reconciliation. Layer 1. Military action to preserve the nation. The first layer was simple but brutal in necessity. The nation could not survive unless the rebellion was contained. The president worked tirelessly to strengthen the army, reorganize leadership, and support generals capable of delivering decisive victories. Railroads became the arteries of military supply. Factories churned out weapons and equipment, and the Navy enforced a massive coastal blockade, slowly constricting the Confederacy's ability to wage war. With each strategic adjustment, the message became clear. To rebuild unity, the Union first had to endure. Layer 2. A political shift that changed everything. Midway through the conflict, the president made a decision that transformed the meaning of the war itself. What began as a fight to preserve the Union evolved into a mission to eliminate the very institution that had divided the country. A public proclamation was issued, one that declared freedom for millions of enslaved people in Confederate territory. This was more than a moral turning point. It was a strategic masterstroke. It weakened the Southern labor system. It prevented foreign powers from supporting the Confederacy. And it gave the war a higher purpose, one the entire world could understand. The conflict was no longer just about sovereignty. It was about the future of human freedom. Layer 3. Reconciliation, not revenge. Toward the end of the war, the president revealed the final layer of his strategy: unity through mercy. Rather than punishing the Southern populace, he envisioned a nation rebuilt on forgiveness. Returning soldiers would not be stripped of their dignity. Families would not be torn apart further. and the path back into the Union would be paved with cooperation, not hostility. This compassionate vision, a vision of rebuilding together, became the cornerstone of America's healing. The idea was simple, but powerful. A nation cannot move forward if its people remain trapped in bitterness.
When the war finally reached its end, the United States stood bruised, exhausted, but still intact. The Union had survived. Slavery had been abolished, and a new chapter was beginning, one rooted in growth, industry, and democratic expansion. Sadly, the president who guided the nation through this storm did not live to witness the rebuilding he fought so hard to make possible. But his principles, the belief in unity, justice, and compassion, became the blueprint for the America that followed. His leadership shaped not only the outcome of the war, but the identity of the nation for generations to come. Today, more than a century and a half later, the Civil War remains one of the darkest chapters in American history. Yet, within that darkness, stood a leader who believed that unity required more than victory. It required purpose, courage, and forgiveness. The untold reality is this: America was not restored by force alone. It was restored through a vision, one that balanced strength with compassion, determination with morality, and war with the promise of peace. And that vision is what ultimately reunited a broken nation.